Okay, folks, calling all A-level math students to try this question. So we're given the function y is equal to 4x cubed minus 7x squared plus 5x minus 10. Part A, find in simplest form part I dy by dx, so the first derivative, and part I or double I, okay, d2y by dx squared, okay, so the second derivative. So dy by dx, the rule is the power comes down as a multiplier, and then we reduce the power of x by 1. So 4x cubed would obviously go to 12x squared. So I do 4 times 3, or 3 times 4 makes 12x, and then I knock one off the power, so it becomes 2, minus 7x squared, obviously eventually is minus 14x. There's minus 7 times 2 x, and then we knock one off the power, so minus 14x to the power of 1. But we know that anything to the power of 1 is just itself. Then we've got the plus 5x, that obviously goes to plus 5. Okay, and the minus 10 goes to 0. Okay, so any constants differentiate to 0. Okay, so think of 5 as 5x to the power of 1. If it helps you, you have 5 times 1 is 5. Then we have x to the power of 0. But we know in maths that anything to the power of 0 is just 1. Okay, and anything to the power of 1 is just itself. Okay, giving me 12x squared minus 14x plus 5 as my answer. Part I d2y by dx squared. So I'm going to differentiate the first derivative again. So 12 times 2 makes 24. Copy down the x, or attach the x, and then knock off the power, so it's 24x. Okay, and then we're going to do minus 14. Think of it as minus 14x power of 1. Minus 14 times 1 makes minus 14. Again, knock one off the power. We have x power of 0, but we know from previous part, or we should know from GCSE, that anything to the power of 0 in maths is just 1. So a to the power of 0 is 1, apart from 0 to the power of 0. So as long as a is not equal to 0, then that is always going to be true. Okay, so x to the power of 0 is equal to 1, 100 to the power of 0 is equal to 1, a billion to the power of 0 is 1, a million to the power of 0 is 1, okay, so on and so forth. Okay, part B, hence find the exact value of x when d2y by dx equals 0. So I'm going to set this equal to 0 and obviously solve the equation. So you have 24x minus 14 is equal to 0. So we're going to add 14 to both sides and then divide through by 24. Okay, so we get x is equal to 14/24. Or if you want to simplify it, you can. You don't have to. Okay, it doesn't say in the question. You can leave it as that. That's completely fine. Or if you do simplify it, you will get 7/12 or 7/12. Okay, so x equals 7/12 or 7/12 as your answer to part B. Okay, and that's setting the second derivative equal to 0 and then solving a linear equation. Okay, so a two-step linear equation that you should obviously know from Key Stage 3 maths or even GCSE maths. Okay, so we added 14 to both sides, okay, and then we divided through the equation by 24 to isolate and get x by itself. Okay, we got 24x equals 14, and then dividing both sides of my equation by 24, because 24x means 24 times x, or x times 24. So the inverse of that is to divide, okay, instead of multiply, to give us our answer. Okay, and in total, that was worth 5 marks from the June 2024 A-level exam series from the Edexcel exam board.